In 2020, the United States government made an open offer. Anyone who could solve one specific problem would be paid up to $625,000. Not a bounty on a person, a bounty on a piece of mat. They weren't trying to crack a military code. They weren't trying to break into a hostile government server. They were trying to see inside one currency. 2 contractors took the job. Neither ever published a victory. 5 years later, nobody has still claimed the money. That's a government in writing admitting there's money in the world they can't see inside. I wanted to know what that money actually was. I did not expect the answer to change the longer I look. Every currency you've ever held has someone standing behind it. Even Bitcoin, built specifically to escape banks, still has a public record anyone can open and follow. But this one is different. No company, no headquarters, no name on a file anywhere. Of the handful of people who built it, only 2 have ever said who they really are, which raises an odd question for something worth billions of dollars. If nobody owns it, then who built it? And why would anyone trust something like that in the first place? A coin called Bitcoin appeared out of nowhere. Its creators claim it has existed quietly, unnoticed since 2012. Nobody had heard of it, and yet somehow its network already looked years old.
Bitcoin. And, Bitcoin unfortunately ended up being a giant scam.
Within weeks, a stranger going by Thankful for Today sat down and did the math himself.
They had mined like 80% of it by the time they sent it out to the world.
Whoever was sitting on the 80% controlled the coin completely, and they had never told anyone it existed.
And so that was very scummy. And so along came this guy called Thankful for Today. We don't know his real name.
Thankful for Today launched a clean version. No hidden supply, no head start for insiders.
He did like a fair relaunch of that, a fair launch of CryptoNote, and he called it Monero.
But this isn't where the story ends. Weeks after launch, Thankful for Today tried to quietly merge his honest coin back into the very project he had just exposed.
The community and Thankful for Today had a big falling out. And so myself and 7 others forked the code base. And so what that means is we ran 2 parallel copies of the code base. So he still had the Monero code base, and then we created the Monero code base.
Here's what got me. The one currency accused of enabling secrecy was born from someone exposing a secret. That was not what I expected to find.
And so both of these founders or whatever are pseudonymous, basically, right? The original guy who wrote the original code, and then the secondary guy. Thank you for
Thankful for Today. Yeah, both totally pseudonymous, which is very much like Bitcoin in that respect. There hasn't been a crazy manhunt to try and figure out who Nicholas von Saberhagen is, or who Thankful for Today are.
The coin built on distrust on one secretive founder ended up unable to trust its own founder either. Which means by the time this currency actually belonged to no one, the question stopped being who built it. It became, how private could something with that many hands on it really be? Here's what almost never gets said about this currency. It wasn't always unbreakable. In 2017, a group of researchers didn't just theorize the system, they broke it. Not likely, certainly. 2016, a minimum group size was made mandatory. January 2017, a new feature, hiding transaction amount entirely. Traceable transaction fell from the high 90s to a single digit within a year. So here's the part that changes what the whole film has been about. The government bounty in 2020 was never aimed at the version that got broken in 2017. It was aimed at whatever this thing had already become after it already lost once and rebuilt itself before most of the world ever noticed. By the time the government started hunting for weaknesses, the weakness they would have found no longer existed. In May 2021, a hacking group called DarkSide shut down the largest fuel pipeline in the United States and demanded $4.4 billion in Bitcoin.
Federal authorities are investigating a major cyber attack targeting America's energy infrastructure. Colonial Pipeline says it was hit by ransomware. Its pipeline runs from Texas to Linden, New Jersey.
Colonial Pipeline says it pumps 100 million gallons of fuel through its network every day. But right now, that number is 0. The company shut down its pipeline Friday after a cyber attack compromised its IT system. We have since determined that this incident involves ransomware, it said in a statement. In response, we proactively took certain systems offline to contain the threat.
The Justice Department says it has seized most of the ransom Colonial Pipeline paid to the cybercriminal group DarkSide after it shut down operations last month. U.S. Deputy Attorney General Lisa Monaco said today they've turned the tables on DarkSide.
The FBI has now recovered $2.3 million of the ransom paid to the hackers in the form of the digital currency known as Bitcoin.
Bitcoin was invented to move money without anybody watching. And here's the government watching closely to take the ransom back. Words like that move fast in exactly one combination.
But hackers are now starting to request less traceable, even less traceable, more anonymous Bitcoin alternatives.
Picture a company negotiating with ransomware hackers. The hackers say something unexpected. Pay us in Monero and we will charge you less. Think about what that means. The criminals were willing to take less money just to avoid getting paid in Bitcoin. Why? Because they believed Bitcoin could be traced. Monero couldn't.
One of the core features of Bitcoin is that its public ledger, which stores all token transactions in its history, is visible to everyone. So this is why the savvier hackers are turning to Monero, which has additional anonymity built into it. Monero is considered a privacy token, which means that it hides virtually all transaction details, which allows cybercriminals greater freedom from some of the tracking tools that authorities have developed to trace payments on Bitcoin's blockchain.
That's the moment privacy stopped being a technical feature and became something people were willing to pay for. Japan moved first, then South Korea, then Kraken for every customer in the UK, then Binance narrowly where it could still be traded on. Exchanges removed Monero because regulators required them to monitor suspicious transactions, and Monero privacy feature made that extremely difficult. Notice what happened there. Nobody passed a law banning this coin outright. The pressure moved sideways through exchanges because the coin itself doesn't have a company anyone could serve a lawsuit on. So if you can't ban it and you can't sue it, what's left? You put a price on cracking it instead. Two contractors won the work. One later published case studies proudly showing off unrelated successes. On this coin, significantly nothing. In an industry that issue a press release for almost everything, that silence is its own kind of evidence. Follow only the crime story and you will miss what exactly was happening at the same time.
The Bank of England is looking into its own digital currency. Sweden's central bank is testing an e-krona, and emerging economies have introduced pilot programs. In 2020, about 60% of the world's 65 central banks surveyed said they're running experiments on CBDC. That's up 18% compared to 2019.
A central bank digital currency isn't a digital cash. It can be designed so every transaction is visible to the government that issued it. Not because a judge approved it, but because that's how the system was built. Now hold those two ideas together. Monero wasn't designed to keep financial activities private. Many governments spent years and even offered a public bounty trying to break that privacy. Some of those same governments have explored digital currency designed with far greater visibility into transactions. Maybe this story was never just about crime. Maybe it was always about who gets to see your money. Let's go back to the start of this story. A stranger on the forum, doing math nobody asked him to do. He didn't like to be lied to. That instinct distrust for anyone holding the keys to steal the entire architecture of this thing. It didn't even trust its own founder. It doesn't trust an exchange. It doesn't trust the government. So should there be any money anywhere that the government cannot see inside? 5 years later, nobody has claimed the money. Nobody owns this coin. Nobody has ever proven they've broken it. Nobody in the government has ever said those two sentences back to back because together, they admit the one thing no one in power wants to say out loud. Some money was never meant to be theirs to watch. Please leave your opinions in the comment section and please like and follow to help us keep making more videos like this. Thank you.